It gives great pleasure to me to welcome you all for today's session. And today's session is being honored by the presence of Dr. S. Natarajan, the professor of cardiology and HOD of Coimbatore G. Kuppuswamy Naidu Memorial Hospital, which is doing pioneering work in cardiology. And a big team of cardiologists led by Dr. Natarajan are catering to the area, and they have outstanding achievement also. And, we have, I suppose, Dr. Chennai will also be joining us. Dr. Chokkalingam is yet to come, I suppose. And now I request Mr. Rangasamy to give the previous meeting's minutes.
சார் நீங்க இன்னும் அன்மியூட் பண்ணல ரங்கசாமி சார்.
ரங்கசாமி சார், உங்க நீங்க அன்மியூட் பண்ணாததுனால தான் எல்லாரும் அன்மியூட் பண்ணாத மாதிரி இருந்தது.
ரங்கசாமி ஐயா,
See the snow.
ரங்கசாமி சார் அன்மியூட் ஆயிடுச்சு, பேசுங்க. உங்க வாய்ஸ் வர மாட்டேங்குது சார், வாய்ஸ் வரல.
ரங்கசாமி ஐயா, உங்க வாய்ஸ் வரல.
மைக் ஆன்ல தான் இருக்கு.
ஆஃப் பண்ணி போடுங்க, வந்துரும்.
இல்லைன்னா ஹெட்போன் கழட்டிடுறது நல்லது.
I will be back in a minute.
ரங்கசாமி ஐயா, ஹெட்போனோட கழட்டிருங்க, டைரக்டா பேசுங்க.
ஹெட்போன் கழட்டிடுங்க சார்.
எங்களுக்கு கேட்கல. ரங்கசாமி ஐயா,
நாம சொல்றத அவர் கேட்கலையோ?
ஆமா, அப்படிதான் நினைக்கிறேன். சார் போன்ல கூப்பிடுங்க.
முத்துமணி,
சொல்லிடுறேன். ஓகே ஆல் கரெக்ட். ஐயா அவங்க சிஸ்டத்துல சுந்தராதேவி மேடத்தை லாஸ்ட் டைம் உள்ளதை ரிவ்யூ போட சொல்லி.
ஓகே
மேபி அதான் மக்கர் பண்ணது. இப்ப கேக்குதா?
எஸ்
இப்ப கேக்குது சார்.
இப்ப கேக்குதா?
நவ் யூ ஆர் ஆடிபிள்.
Sorry that we have delayed. வாழ்க வையகம், வாழ்க வையகம், வாழ்க வளமுடன். குரு வாழ்க, குருவே துணை. Be blessed by the divine. Maybe this delay is due to Dr. Sundara Devi is supposed to review. Am I correct? Sundara Devi, we welcome all of you for the today's session. It's a great pleasure in welcoming especially Dr. Narajan, and of course, sorry that I came late. Dr. T.T. Shanmugavelu is there on the line, Sundara Devi is there, and as usual, Guptas are there. And really, it is going to be a wonderful session today. Before that, we will quickly summarize, since Doctor has told that Dr. Shanmugavelu made an excellent presentation last week. And in fact, in the remarks which Dr. Sundara Devi made was ரொம்ப நல்லா இருந்தது அப்படின்னு சொன்னாங்க. It was not an overstatement, it's an understatement. It's an excellent presentation. He combined everything, Dr. Shanmugavelu, when he said it's a science of Kayakalpa. That is the topic he gave. He combined everything and not left anything, including perineum and perineal body. According to the review by Sundara Devi, doctor, nobody gives any importance to perineal body. Many slides Dr. Shanmugavelu has shown, wonderful slides, and he is a specialist in, actually followed by our Mahavali Rajan also said is a wonderful, nice presentation, covers everything, spiritual point of view and medical point of view. And in fact, how he went about is that he told this introduction as science of Kayakalpa. Doctor said awareness of astral body was brought in. Kayakalpa, of course, all of you know as Ashwini Mudra, Moola Bandha, Ojas Breath, Kesari Mudra. He covered that when he was talking about the three bodies came in Jaladhara Bandha, Udyana Bandha and Moola Bandha also he covered. Three of these bandhas also he covered. The concept of lock was brought in. He said the true meaning of bandha is essentially a paradoxical statement, he said. For it is by locking certain muscles on the physical level, unlocking goes on simultaneously on the mental and the pranic level. And in other words, bandhas work simultaneously affecting the physical, pranic, mental, psychic and causal bodies. And they are all associated with the energy centers of spine and brain, he was telling. And Moola Bandha, of course, he was talking about the perineal contraction, stimulating both sensory motor and the autonomic nervous system of the pelvic region. He further stated that the performance of bandhas has been experimentally shown to enforce all parasympathetic activities in the body. Sympathetic nervous stimulation also occurs at a subdued level, he said. Bandhas affect the endocrine glands and all chakras. And why he was giving quite a bit of a relative portion on that. Intimately they are connected with. That is why when he said abdominal contraction is Udyana Bandha, and when he was talking about the throat compression as Jaladhara Bandha, and they are combined with the Maha Bandha, prana is, he brought in the concept of prana at this stage is in the how it is compressed in the Shushma Nadi. The next he took up the anatomical and physiological aspects of it, that is perineum and perineal body and pelvic floor was brought in, the concept of Moola Bandha. That was very greatly appreciated by our Dr. Swendra when she later on reviewed it. Moola Bandha is not contraction of whole perineum. He showed vivid pictures, wonderful pictures, cut sections, male and female urogenital regions, showed how Kayakalpa helps to strengthen the pelvic diaphragm of the male. In all his previous Kayakalpa classes, he used to very periodically tell how this uh, pelvic portion is getting strengthened. Pelvic diaphragm is getting strengthened. By regular practice of Mulabandha, the area in the brain associated with the perineum will develop. He further added that there is clear distinction between perineum and the perineal body. That is, then he brought in the anatomical aspects and anal area, and Vajroli Mudra also brought in the concept of it. Thereafter, he covered the neurological and endocrinological aspects also, and how Mulabandha helps to integrate the central nervous system and autonomic nervous system, sympathetic, parasympathetic nervous systems, how the whole body has been, from top to bottom. He didn't allow any one part of the cell. He said every one of the cell is getting energized. The Mulabandha is also a pranic technique more than a physical one. He emphasized how this pranic energy, that is the pranic technique, is more than a physical one. He said very important point where he said regular practice, we can refine our energy into a highly concentrated force. There he said how this bulb, he gave an example, wonderful example of how the 10-watt bulb, which can produce a colorful laser beams. And in a nutshell, he said all the dormant areas, almost 90% of the brain begin to plug into conscious awareness. Thus, the Mula therapy was brought in as a very important point in the physical level, such very effective in physical level, various diseases like piles, fissures, ulcers, and etc., and also the beneficial in the case of asthma and bronchitis and arthritis. In the medical benefits for females, he usually emphasizes that aiding the painless delivery and very useful for the childbirth. He also showed that how the male and female hernia and sperm formation, sexual aspects, all those points without leaving anything. And in his concluding speech, he said the practice of Mulabandha, how animal propensities are transformed into intuition, peace, and divine qualities. He also, how this union of consciousness and peace takes place because of this Mulabandha, and excellent ending with, and the slides which you will never forget. And 1 hour 45 minutes, I cannot describe in 10 minutes. So thank you very much for all of you. And we will now move on to the next today's session. Dr. Ravindranath ji, I hope it is sufficient. And sorry that I am cutting short. We can carry on with our today's proceedings. Over to you, Doctor.
Thank you. Though you are late, you have given excellent coverage of the last week, justifying your personality. Now we have Dr. S. Natarajan with us. Dr. S. Natarajan, he joined GKNM Hospital, and he is still continuing to lead the cardiology department, and he has achieved so many things, and he has been a very good teacher of this thing, cardiology, even though he was teaching cardiology to IMA members, to the college students, to the postgraduates, everyone. And he has so many laurels, and listening to him, you will understand. Now he is going to introduce the assessment of cardiological functions in reference to yoga, sky yoga in particular. May I request Dr. Natarajan, please? Welcome, Dr. Natarajan.
Welcome, sir. We are anxiously waiting.
Dr. Natarajan, are you hearing?
சம் பவர் ப்ராப்ளம் நினைக்கிறேன் சார். அப்பயே ஆன் பண்ணனாங்க, எனக்கு பின்னால பேக்ரவுண்ட் ரொம்ப டார்க்கா இருந்தது. கரண்ட் இல்லையோன்னு தோணுது. சார் நடராஜன் வர்ற வரைக்கும் நடராஜனை பத்தி நான் கொஞ்சம் சொல்லணும் சார்.
Oh yes, you.
Natarajan is my classmate, and usually we call him as GS. And he did his school in Manish High School, and he was state first in our batch in PUC level. And he is the winner of the science scholarship from the Tamil Nadu. And throughout the MBBS career, he was having only gold medal. After that, he finished his MD in MMC. Then he finished his cardiology in Manipal. Then he married to his wife Uma from Karnataka. Now he is practicing in GKNM hospital. Before that, I think he has worked in ICMR also as a scientific scholar. Now he is working with a big team of cardiologists under him, and he is giving a lot of lectures everywhere. And he is a brilliant student when we are all with him. And actually, at the student stage itself, he was teaching a lot of things for us also. In that way, he is such a brilliant person, and today we are lucky to have him today. I don't know why he is not on the line.
Screen.
Yes, sir. Only 2 days back we were all in line, and he was talking from his office.
டாக்டர் ஐயா
சொல்லுங்க.
பேசிட்டு அந்த இப்ப லைன்ல வந்துடுறேன்ட்டாங்க.
All right.
His son is also cardiologist, and he is working in states, sir.
Hello. He has some difficulty in connecting to us. He will be on the line soon. While
Trying, he's coming on the line.
yes. While he is coming, Aruna, you can call one of the scholars to present their this thing. Aruna,
Yes, doctor.
just call one to present until
Anuradha,
Dr. Nat.
Anuradha, are you ready to present?
வாழ்க வளமுடன். Okay, I'm ready.
Come on the video, ma. Yes, welcome. Proceed.
Can you make host, sir?
Yeah. You want?
Host to share the PPT, sir.
Mithumani, make her co-host. Today, everyone seems to be having some delay.
Started his mind. I think now Anu has got it.
Yes.
Varshavayyaham, Varshavayyaham, Varshavallamudan, Guru Varsha, Guruve Thunai. My name is Anuradha. I am a PhD scholar. So my assignment question is, what is Ashwini Mudra? What is Mula Bandha? Do they mean the same or are they different? So this is my assignment question. First, we'll see what is Mudra. So Mudra means gesture or attitude. So it may be psychic, emotional, devotional, or aesthetic gestures or attitudes. This Mudra links the individual force, pranic force, with the universal or cosmic force. So this is an important technique which awakens the Kundalini Shakti. Actually, there are 5 groups of yoga mudras. One is Hasta Mudra, which is done by hand, and Mana Mudra, which is done by eyes, ears, tongue. And next is Kaya Mudra, which is done by postures, that is asanas, example Viparita Karani Mudra. And the last 2 are Bandha, which is lock mudras, example Mahamudra, Mahabandha, like that. And the last one is Adhara, perennial mudras, example Ashwini Mudra, Vajroli, Sahajoli. So this Bandha comes under the Mudra category. So what is the difference between Mudra and Bandha? So this, as I said, it is a gesture or attitude. And in coming to Bandha, it is a part of Mudras. So it is a locking action. It means tighten or lock or hold, which lock the pranas. In particular, it directs the flow into the middle channel, that is Sushma Nadi, which also awakens the Kundalini Shakti. So what is Ashwini Mudra? So Ashwini Mudra, in one of the texts called Hatha Yoga text, Garanda Samhita, in chapter 3, Mudra and Bandha chapter, verses 82 and 83, says that contracting and expanding the anal region repeatedly is called Ashwini Mudra, as the picture shows that it is contracting and expanding the anus, that is anal sphincter muscles. So next is Mula Bandha. So Mula Bandha means, so here the muscles of the urethra and the anus are separate. So when we control to urge the urinate, the urethra is tightened, not the anus. So that is Vajroli Mudra. When coming to the contraction of the anus, it is Ashwini Mudra. And this Mula Bandha means contraction of the area between the 2 is Mula Bandha. That is contraction of anal sphincter muscles and also the urethral muscles. Between this, we should contract, that is the Mula Bandha, which is perineal muscles, that is pelvic floor muscles. Okay. So next is, so this is the difference between Ashwini Mudra and Mula Bandha. So Ashwini Mudra means horse mudra, Mula Bandha means perineal contraction or vaginal contraction. So here, which means horse, here it says that a horse makes with its sphincter immediately after evacuation of the bowels. So after evacuation only, the horse will be contracting and expanding the anal sphincter muscles. Here Mula means root, source or cause, which where the Muladhara chakra is activated, which is the seat of Kundalini, and it is effective for the awakening of the Muladhara chakra. So here when we see here Ashwini Mudra, which is contracting and expanding the anus. And here that red color point is Mula Bandha, which is between the 2 regions, between the, that is urethra and the anal part. So here it is a study on Mula Bandha done in S. Vyasa, KM Sweta, and in 2018 they have did a study, that is effect of Mula Bandha yoga in mild grade pelvic organ prolapse. So they have took 50 participants, they have divided into 2 groups, 25 in each group, and they have mild pelvic organ prolapse. They have assessed a questionnaire which is a pelvic floor distress inventory 20 and pelvic floor impact questionnaire. They have given a Mula Bandha yoga therapy for the 3 months for female patients, and after 3 months it shows that there is a significant improvement. because due to this Moolabandha yoga therapy, that is root log therapy, it showed a greater improvement in both of these questionnaires. So, but they have said that more studies should be done on Moolabandha yoga therapy to investigate the long-term effects. So in that paper, they have given a mechanism of Moolabandha. That is, Moolabandha stimulates three of these: autonomic nervous system, hypothalamus, and intestinal peristalsis. So this autonomic nervous system divided into parasympathetic activity, sympathetic activity, so which again stimulates the pelvic floor muscles. And in the center, hypothalamus, which activates limbic and cerebral cortex, and which in turn decreases the stress and discomfort. And the last one is intestinal peristalsis, which massages the abdominal muscles, in turn relieves the piles and constipation. This is the mechanism of Moolabandha given in the Moolabandha book, which has been shared by Shanmugavel sir. And coming to the conclusion part, here Ashwini Mudra, that is horse mudra, here contracting and expanding the anal region. So it should be repeatedly done. Contracting and expanding the anal region repeatedly. It is Ashwini Mudra. So scientifically, we can say that contracting and expanding the anal sphincter muscles. So when coming to Moolabandha, which is contraction between the anus and the urethra. So here I have found out one word, which is a pubococcygeus muscles. That is PC muscles, pelvic floor muscles. So contracting this pubococcygeus muscles is Moolabandha, that is perineal contraction. So, but this pubococcygeus muscles cannot be contracted initially. For that, we should do Ashwini Mudra. So here the picture shows that PC muscle, pubococcygeus muscle, this first picture. So before that it is urethra, and next that anus. Between these two there is a PC muscle, pelvic floor muscle, or pubococcygeus muscle in the female. And here coming to this, here urethra and here anus. Between this red color, pink color picture, that is PC muscles, pubococcygeus muscles. So I came to know that contracting this PC muscles, pubococcygeus muscles, may be Moolabandha. So Ashwini Mudra. So a conclusion for my last question: Ashwini Mudra and Moolabandha are different, but for Moolabandha, one should learn to practice Ashwini Mudra and Vajroli Mudras. So if we do Ashwini Mudra, automatically these pubococcygeus muscles will be contracted. So thank you, sir. This is my, I have found out this, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you for this opportunity, sir.
Thank you. You have given more detailed descriptions, and you have taken pains. We appreciate it, and we thank you for your efforts. Now we have Dr. Natarajan with us, and we will invite Dr. Natarajan. Dr. Shanmugavel will do it better than me. I request Shanmugavel to welcome you.
Natarajan is there. Hello, Natarajan. Good evening.
Shanmugam, there is some confusion. Yesterday only Sir told me about this meeting, and
Okay.
I was told to have it next week. I'm surprised to find my name this week.
Okay. But still, I know you can help us. We will be going only on the spasm of the coronary arteries, and the spasms are influenced by our yoga technique. So what we want is how much the parasympathetic effect on the vasospastic effect of the coronary vessels, which can help us, because our exercise, Kaya Kalpa and the relaxation exercise, all produces the parasympathetic stimulation, and that in turn release the spastic condition of the coronary artery, and it may help in reducing the cholesterol, reducing the BP, and reducing the morbidities of the heart problem. So in that way we are talking. I know in that way you can throw light on it.
Now you want to know the role of spasm. See, there's
Yes.
a difference between the spasm of pubococcygeus muscle perineal sphincter and that of blood vessels, because basically these are all striated skeletal muscles, whereas what we are talking is a vascular smooth muscle. Though the basic structure is actin myosin, right?
Oh,
The muscle type is different. See, the type what we have in blood vessels is vascular smooth muscle, which is quite different from striated muscle, which you find in anal perineal floor. Now, what's the role of vasospasm in coronary artery disease?
yes.
In fact, the coronary artery disease in young, that is individuals who are less than 40 years, 45 years, there's a good role of spasm, especially smokers. We know nicotine causes a good amount of vascular spasm. So, whereas most of the coronary artery disease which we see are all atherosclerotic plaques, which are all fixed obstructions. So there's always a combination of spasm and fixed obstruction. That's what we call the unstable angina. So acute coronary syndrome. So in acute coronary syndrome, spasm has also a role, but it need not necessarily be the extent of spasm varies from individual to individual. There are some people who have fixed lesions, especially elderly, fixed calcific lesions, that there may not much spasm, as opposed to young individuals in whom spasm plays a major role, especially young smokers. Have I answered your question, Shanmugam?
Yes. And you said there is no connection between the smooth muscles and the skeletal muscles. But what
Yes,
I am
because-
telling is parasympathetic stimulation reduces the heart rate. So by that, it increases the efficiency of the heart. And
No,
in that,
I'm talking about the mudras which you influence the coccygeus muscle
that
may
we
not
are
have a
talking
role of vascular
right?
smooth.
We were talking in the bottom. Now we are talking in the middle, not in the top. But the top
Yes.
controls both the middle and the bottom. In the because the
So ultimately,
yes.
everything is actin myosin contraction. If you boil down to the basic ultra structure of the whether it's a skeletal muscle or vascular muscle or cardiac muscle, the basis is actin myosin interaction, and that is mediated by calcium. So
Yes.
the actin myosin interaction mediated by calcium, and it's influenced by various hormones. See, the catecholamines, both norepinephrine and epinephrine, plus acetylcholine, which is the parasympathetic mediator. They have a role in skeletal muscles. Of course, it's the same role also there in vascular smooth muscles. Vascular smooth muscles also, acetylcholine has got a role. But here, the major mediator is nitric oxide. The vasodilatation is mainly by nitric oxide.
Yes, sir. Well, what we want to know from you is, by doing our yogic exercise, we are producing the parasympathetic stimulation. That is in bandhas or mudras.
No, I don't
or
think you should just break it down into sympathetic parasympathetic, because we are also
Right.
a lot of humoral factors involved. For example, the peace, the tranquility which you achieve by yoga can itself influence the limbic system and
Yes.
facilitate other neurohumoral mediated relaxation. So it's very difficult to just only to attribute one thing to only sympathetic and parasympathetic system, though they have a major role. Sympathetics
Sure.
control the force of contraction, speed of the automaticity, contractility, excitability, conductivity, and relaxation. All these five properties are controlled by the sympathetic system.
Now,
So,
shall I interfere now?
yes, sir.
Shanmugavel, we will go to the topic assigned to him, that
Yes,
is
sir.
assessment of cardiovascular function. This is in general, not pertaining to mudras. So we will see how the cardiovascular function is being assessed, especially with a reference to the SKY practices. So what are all the parameters which we can take up for our research studies?
So,
So,
Ravindra,
sorry for
I
the-
told you, actually, I'm not yet prepared, because you told me only yesterday, right? What I gave you a talk, gave just a gist of what I could cover. So give me time next week, next meeting, I'll do it,
Oh yes, oh yes, oh yes. Right over. Thank you very
because I
much.
should do justice
And
to the topic.
Narayan, but you must
that is
study
Natarajan.
that is what is the role of meditation in cardiac diseases. Have you got any idea? Because you would have come across lot of references. Totally, overall.
See, stress is an important cardiovascular risk factor, especially in young individuals. See, today, the IT industry, then industry in finance, self.
Correct.
Yes, yes.
Your audio is not coming. நடராஜன் உங்க ஆடியோ வரல.
நெட் ஏதோ நெட்
Is it okay now?
Yes,
Oh, yes, okay, okay.
So where were we? We were talking about stress-related
Stress.
coronary artery disease.
ஆமா.
Stress is a
Yoga-
major.
Oh, yes.
Stress is definitely a major risk factor for coronary artery disease right now. In addition to many other factors, we all know that coronary artery disease is a multifactorial disease. It not only it has got a lot of metabolic components. Metabolic components include diabetes, dyslipidemia, then obesity, and physical inactivity.
Metabolic syndrome.
We have hemodynamic in the form of hypertension, then toxin in the form of smoking and tobacco-related other products, and then we have stress as the important contributory factors. So we have all these components which contribute to coronary artery disease. In a given individual, things may differ from individual to individual. And of course, one thing which you cannot forget is the hereditary factors. Familial disposition definitely is an important coronary risk factor, in addition to age and sex. So with these multiple risk factors, we have to tackle each one of them to have a good success. No point in just talking about one alone. And in this, yoga has got multiple actions. Number one, yoga influences your diet. So through diet, you influence your diabetes, dyslipidemia, hypertension, and overweight. Again, yoga helps you in tackling the stress and also tackling obesity. So I think you have multiple ways of benefit by yogic and meditation practice. Does it answer your question?
Yes.
And Madhavi, Karuna ma'am, you want to ask anything?
Sir, I think Natarajan sir, I have been asking you since a long time to attend or to make your people to attend this doctors conference in the at Aliyar. I think then I cannot make Dr. SNR sir to understand that he once, I remember him saying, okay, doctor, you are saying so. Last month or so, I had one of the patient who got admitted with myocardial infarction, and I treated him and I asked him what he is. He's a yoga teacher, he said. As you said, he may be a yoga teacher, he may be teaching, but he really practices it is what I do not know. He said that is what. And so then sir was not, his mind was not into that. I think of late now with the stress and the younger individuals getting more and more of this heart diseases. And I think sir is really getting into this meditation, yoga, and asanas, and also I think it's
Dear
the right
doctor,
time.
I know very different from what my concepts of those days. See, the problem today
that is
in
what.
any disease, we are acting like 5 blind men who try to see an elephant, right? There's always, I always say, it's not a single factor. You have to attend to everything, right? I would say yoga alone is the answer. I would still say yoga plus drugs plus diet, everything.
Yeah, of course, this is more of a prevention we would go, because once it is
Healthy living is, yes, that is different.
Yeah, I think it can have a role in the, as you said, hereditary factor. I think it can be delayed, and all these metabolic symptoms, I think we can have a prevention. I think in this more of a prevention, and with younger generation, if you attend, I think we can reduce the incidence of the cardiac diseases.
I definitely agree to that. See, healthy living is most important.
Okay, sir. I think
If
the
you
people
put it,
are all
Dr.
about the
Karuna.
sympathetic and the parasympathetic. That is what, because in these asanas and mudras and all these things, we bring about increased activity of the parasympathetic and we sedate the sympathetic system. I think that
See,
is
that is
what
because,
all
see, in evolution, sympathetic
Yes, sir.
responses are all primitive. For
Yes.
example,
Yes.
the fight and flight are all sympathetic.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
all our, see, the cavemen had all only sympathetic overactivity. It was our society which brought in all these parasympathetic controls. See, all you look at, the break is always a parasympathetic, whereas sympathetic is a flight or fight reaction. So
That
in
is what
evolution,
because
in
this one
evolution we are
sedates the
using more
sympathetic.
and more
This one
parasympathetic.
brings down the sympathetic, and so I think it has got a major role. That is what all the asanas and all those, but people are working on that. That is what we want the information in that aspect. I think we are really interested.
Yeah, I do agree. See, for example, wherever the vagal tone is gone, you have the
Yes.
autonomic neuropathy, you have the disease process. Your cardiac disease, neurological disease are all a part of vagal denervation, right? So wherever sympathetic overactivity happens, there's a disease.
Yes. Sir. Okay, sir. That is what Shanmugam sir really wants
Yes.
to bring in to you, though you have not prepared for what he has. You are supposed to. He wants you to answer that, so that upon that you can work more. That is what is that what Shanmugam sir he wanted from Dr.
Yes, sir.
SNR?
But let us give him some time because I know
Yes, sir.
he will
Yes, sir.
bounce.
No.
Sure.
Sir told me about the
He will work
topic.
in,
But I only suggested. I thought I didn't know that it was today.
Yes.
He told me 1 week later.
So
sir, you take your own time, sir. We know.
You are
know
meeting
that
every
you will
Tuesday, no? You are
get
meeting every
much more
Tuesday?
information next
You are
week.
meeting every Tuesday?
hello.
You are meeting
Hello.
every Tuesday?
Yes,
Yes, sir.
yes.
Yes. Yes,
So
sir.
next Tuesday, because I'll prepare some slides also. That will be more, more it will
Yes.
give you the orderly picture.
Yes, yes. You can go through the literature and you can come out. So you can
Yeah.
have your own ideas on that. Okay. Thank you, Dr.
Thank you, sir.
I know
Thank you, ma'am.
definitely you will come out with a lot of materials.
Thank you. Thank you.
The audience is exclusively doctors, huh?
No.
We
But
have
all-
doctors and
Now, who forms the
PhD
majority?
scholars. The PhD
Majority is
scholars.
non-doctors, no? Majority is
Ah.
non-doctors.
Non-doctors, non-doctors.
non-doctors.
Scholars.
And the doctors who are here are also behaving as though they are non-doctors. They
No,
behave more with yoga than with
I'll put the level of talk to that of non-doctors. That's why.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Most important is to know the audience.
And Dr. Natarajan appreciates lifestyles importance. The changes in the lifestyles are the first step to intervene in.
Sir, you'll be surprised to know for the last 25 years, every Thursday, I am conducting a public awareness meeting of how to prevent heart diseases, where we stress on lifestyle change.
So,
in Conrad Hospital, sir. I'm doing it for the last nearly 25 years.
Right. Now, for your information, that best form of lifestyle intervention comes through yoga, in the form of yoga.
Agreed.
Right. So, yoga has the beneficial effect because of its influence on the lifestyle. So, we can take it that way. And now,
Yes, sir.
all right. For a general form of question, the stress, how it is relieved by yoga, attended to by yoga. Dr. Devi may explain it. The stress relieving potential of yoga. Dr. Devi?
Yeah, வாழ்க வளமுடன்.
வாழ்க வளமுடன்.
See, there are actually, as Karuna said, I want to tell Dr. Natarajan that we are thinking yoga as the best preventive medicine. You know, because before the symptoms appear, we can follow the lifestyle, and then more specifically
Prevent.
the yoga practices to enhance the effect of the parasympathetic nervous system and slowing down the heart rate and respiratory rate, the heart rate variability, and so many, hormonal secretions like the cortisol and all the stress hormones we can reduce, and all the relaxing hormones we can increase. And then at the brain level also, we can have a change in the brain waves. From like beta waves, we can bring every meditative practice. It has been proved by so many researchers that brain waves are brought down to alpha, theta, and even delta states just by the pranayama practices. And even just doing a diaphragmatic breathing itself can increase the vagal tone. So yoga is one practice where we can consciously increase the vagal tone. And because of that, there are so many changes are coming. Like Dr. Natarajan said, the acetylcholine secretion is increased and the epinephrine and adrenaline secretion is decreased. And all those parameters are also there on the research papers. So that way, yoga is it is a multidisciplinary form. We say about the diet, yogic diet is a sattvic diet, where the yoga classifies diet into three forms: sattvic diet, rajasic diet, and tamasic diet. So tamasam increases, the inertia and inactivity. So thereby increasing the weight and joint problems and all that.
Repeats.
And whereas the rajasic diet is increasing the sympathetic activity, and because of that, the problems come. Whereas a sattvic diet consisting of fruits, nuts, vegetables, and all those things, it gives you a balance between the two. Mainly, yoga says any disease is an imbalance in the Ida and Pingala, that is the sympathetic and parasympathetic aspects of life. So yoga is moderation in everything, in eating. Krishna says, yoga is not for the person who eats a lot, who does not eat at all. Yoga is not for the person who sleeps a lot and who does not sleep. So who is overactive and underactive. So there is a midway, the middle path in everything. So that is what today's lifestyle masters are also saying. There should not be inertia, there should not be aggression also. So there should be a middle path in everything, in the diet, in the physical activity, in the mental activity, and the psychological, emotional balance, and all those things. If you have a middle path and moderation, that means uh, you're balancing the sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous systems in the body, and thereby bringing about beneficial changes in every system, in the heart rate, in the respiratory rate, in the digestive problems. See, when the overactive sympathetic system, it cuts down on your digestive secretions, and then so digestion is not there. And the digestion is the main thing. When that is affected, every system is affected. And we are not breathing properly at all in these days. So the air entry, the minute volume, everything is very much less in these people. So yoga teaches us to breathe well, take in a good amount of air, the full amount that we can take. And then by retaining it, the ratio of breathing of inspiration and expiration also has a value in the brain wave changes. And then retention of breath, what we call kumbhaka in pranayama, that is shown to increase, the vascularization, even in people who had cardiac problems and cardiac vascular diseases. The capillarization is more when you do this pranayama practices. So that way, yoga is the best preventive medicine. And of course, in treatment of so many problems, like not only in heart problem, but on asthmatics, we see dramatic improvements with yoga and digestive problems and everything, because it acts not only by the asana. That yoga teacher, what they referred, he might have been yoga asana teacher. Some people think that asana is only yoga, so they teach some asanas and call themselves yoga teachers. So that is not going to help. Yoga means asana, pranayama, and meditation. All these are combined, and you have to do everything together to get the good benefits of it. and which ends up in what Dr. Natarajan said as the lifestyle changes. The whole lifestyle changes, and then we get to reap all the benefits of yoga. So that's how
I think because of the last 3-4 meetings, weekly meetings, we have been focusing more on the sympathetic and parasympathetic. So now the discussion centers on sympathetic and parasympathetic. So instead, we can see a holistic approach. Yoga is a way of life than a practice. And when it changes your lifestyle, the way you live, the priorities which you have, when all those gets transformed, then the problems that arise out of the overactivity, avariciousness, too much of ambition, and intolerance, everything, all those lot, they get attended to by yoga, and the benefit is phenomenal. It is the holistic benefits of yoga. By holistic benefit, I mean that the entire system takes part in yoga, and the benefits are not pertaining to the single problem which we take up. It covers, encompasses other things also. To give an example, in diabetes, we expect a fall in the sugar level and in control in the glycemic status. But what happens when we treat in our modern medical way, we control the blood sugar, and when the dyslipidemia comes, we add a normalizer for the cholesterol lipid status, and when he develops something in the peripheral neuritis, we add treatment to that also. And in spite of good control over the diabetic glycemic status, the other complications go uncorrected, or the effect of treatment is very little on these complications of diabetes. Whereas when we try to tackle diabetes with yoga, we have conducted nearly 50 camps in Alia, where we observe participants for 1 month. There, their blood sugar fasting and postprandial both falls, the HbA1c falls, and the hemoglobin increases, and the cholesterol level, the dyslipidemia comes to normal range. There is a body mass index comes down, and weight comes down. So there is a global improvement in them. Their effort tolerance increases. They are able to have walk for long distance at a higher pace. All these things takes place. These are all physical benefits, and the yoga intervention, as against other interventions, produces a overall improvement, a global change in the body chemistry and the psychology of the mind, and the benefits are far more pronounced for a person who speaks for yoga. And how these things are produced is something which we have to follow. Do you agree with Natarajan that the medical intervention and the yoga intervention differences?
Yes, sir. Actually, as I said earlier, I don't think you should be very fanatical about only one aspect of management. You have to have lifestyle changes plus medication when required. So ultimately, we don't subject ourselves as guinea pigs for any mode of management. we should get the benefit of every system of management which is available today. We all have to agree that human beings are not immortals. We have one day, whatever we do, it doesn't make us immortals, right? So the quality of life is more important. If anything which will improve our quality of life, I think I will go by that. I will incorporate it in my system. I will not be very fanatical. Say I won't do this. I will do only this. I will take to utilize everything to my benefit. That is my approach.
Very good for having raised this question. Dr. Mabali Rajan, will you explain to him the overall benefits and the point which he raised? What was the point you raised, Natarajan, right now?
Yes, sir. Welcome. It's very good that our meeting is, we have a lot of guests like cardiovascular specialists and neurology specialists in the early presentation, kind of. Because it's very important, because the yoga and the meditation mediated benefits coming from the every system, actually. Because only we broken the medicine into various compartments like cardiovascular and neurology, respiratory,
Nephrology.
so for our own convenience, kind of. And the last time also we discussed that, and Dr. Natarajan sir also explained very well about the lifestyle and multimodality management of this coronary syndrome. And all the times we end up with this kind of discussion where all the yoga related practices converge in the parasympathetic, and the stress related things converge in the sympathetic. And ma'am, like Devi ma'am was talking about, the middle of everything is good, because we cannot avoid the usefulness of the parasympathetic system as well. Because you know very well that sympathetic, the last time we said that sympathetic means like our body system is having sympathy on us to survive in emergency situation. Meaning, so you know very well that in the sympathetic, during sympathetic activation, and each and every organ behave in a very different way. For example, heart has to beat a lot because it has to pump a lot of energy to the skeletal muscle so that we can run from that particular place. And based on the heart, when the heart is pumping more blood should contain both oxygen as well as the food material. So oxygen should come from the respiratory system that can manage by the increasing breathing rate kind of thing. On the other hand, in fact, when we are in the emergency situation and all, so we don't feel hungry. So meaning our system use a reserve energy. It's like a saving. So whenever we are in a difficult situation, so we are not going outside to earn some money. Similarly, this sympathetic nervous system use our own reserved energy. So that reserved energy is called glycogen. That glycogen immediately will be lyzed in the form of the glycogenolysis so that it can pump, like very similarly, whenever there is a situation, in the emergency situation, we used to sell our gold and kind of real estate things, everything, so that we can convert that one into the money. Similarly, the glycogen is converted into glucose and pushed into the blood. So as a result, in the blood, glucose will be there, oxygen will be, immediately it will convert into energy in the form of the mitochondria, through mitochondria. So that skeletal muscle get a lot of energy so that you can run from that situation or you can fight with the situation, kind of. That's all. It's a kind of. At the same time, like when you're talking about the parasympathetic nervous system, when you are out of the emergency situation, everything come back to normal. So meaning a continuous sympathetic activation is very dangerous, and it has to come back to normal. For example, exactly reverse is happening. Like the heartbeat reduces, respiratory rate reduces, and then even the glycogenolysis will be reduced such a way that now the stomach and intestinal system become active to convert whatever we are eating, that will be converted into glycogen kind of. So meaning that parasympathetic nervous system will bring back to normal situation when we are out of the emergency situation. At the same time, this parasympathetic nervous system also has many other aspects. Like many other aspects, you know very well that in the Alzheimer's disease, when you're talking about Alzheimer's disease, a reduction in acetylcholine is one important thing. Because of that, only people are talking about kind of cholinergic drugs kind of medication will be essential for the, Alzheimer's disease kind of. So meaning, as Madam said that, Devi ma'am said that there must be a limit for everything. Does not be overstress, does not be under stress. So optimal level of all the hormones are required to have a optimal lifestyle kind. So anyway, I think we need to understand that how exactly parasympathetic nervous system. So that's what we talked like in the earlier discussion. Like when you're talking about sympathetic or parasympathetic, when you're talking about parasympathetic, it will have a peripheral effect as well as a central effect. So meaning, so whenever we want to measure, okay, by doing meditation, can we measure kind of acetylcholine in the blood? So that may not really correlate with the mental and the entire stress relieving mechanism kind of, because the acetylcholine itself has a kind of central and peripheral effect. So meaning we have to devise a mechanism to understand the peripheral effect of this acetylcholine, and that will tell us the holistic understanding of whether the Sky Yoga or any other meditation really activate the central effect of parasympathetic nervous system. So meaning a blood parameter should be combined with some kind of neurological parameters, cardiovascular, respiratory parameters. So this is my opinion.
Thank you for it. You have brought in the same sympathetic, parasympathetic, and the central and peripheral effects of both the systems. At this juncture, I want Aruna to note that one of the assignments will be the sympathetic and parasympathetic balance equation, and the effects of the sympathetic and parasympathetic separately, compare the two, and bring in the way yoga handles this sympathetic and parasympathetic. So this, please make a note of it. And now we have Dr. Perumal here, K. Perumal. He will be able to explain the yoga benefits non-medically. He is not a doctor. For a change, Dr. Perumal is going to talk to us on, as a yoga concerned, yoga person concerned with yoga. Dr. KP, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Is it audible, sir?
Very much.
Okay, thank you, sir. Just I came to see the discussion going on there, but it's very interesting. The doctors are giving very valuable.
Doctor, video long, sir.
Just let me first sing the audio. Then later on I will join the video. So
no problem, sir. You can just put on the video. No difficulty. So, right.
So here we have some research scholars doing MPL and PhD program coming under the Bharatiya University. We call that WCC Mission Sky Research Center. So here, mainly we take Swamiji's yoga system. As Professor Aruna told that, Swamiji's system is a combination of everything, which gives the asana and the Kaya Kalpa yoga and meditation. So it's a combination of everything. And also we have diet also, we emphasize on the diet also. So totally it gives a real lifestyle for the people. But what we can say, our yoga for human excellence or the yoga given by Vedas Maharishi, it's not just a classical yoga. It's a way of life. As our Professor Natarajan was telling that, it's a way of life, and it gives some conditions for the lifestyle. The people, every year, some 3 lakh people, roughly 3 lakh people, they join. They enjoy the benefits also. And through the biggest studies, they have proved the effect of our exercise, which has been simplified for different asanas, and particularly the Kayakalpa Yoga, and it's a unique system here in the simplified Kundalini Yoga, Vanavalakula Yoga. Then followed by the meditation. So here Swamiji has given 9 types of meditation. They are all very simple. Anybody above the age of 14, they can join and participate. So all the people are enjoying, particularly the exercise and the Kayakalpa. We have a lot of tools. As Doctor told that the Rayabadi camp, they have conducted more than 40 camps in which data is available. Besides that, our scholars, they went to different corners, they have collected different data, and they have proved that the exercise and the Kayakalpa, they help for improving our immunity system and also keeping the lifestyle intact. Then along with the meditation, if they do the meditation also, the yoga and the Kayakalpa, that gives 60% we can say the way of life in which you want to live. Then the remaining 40%, that gives the meditation. So Swamiji has given very simple meditation. Anybody can practice. Anybody can practice. So the combination of these exercise, Kayakalpa yoga and the meditation, really it does some wonderful work. And both physically and mentally also, and it helps a lot. A lot of people have been benefited, and we are verifying each and every aspect of Swamiji through our research activities. Taking from the physical exercise, Kayakalpa yoga and meditation, all the aspects we are considering for the research, and we are getting very good results from that. And right now we have some 200 journal papers published in different journals, particularly in the referred journals. We have that. I'm happy to say that the WCG Research Center, through the students, it has some 200 research journals published in different journals. So with that, I thank
you.
Dr. Rabindranath for giving me an opportunity. Actually, I joined in between, but your session is very nice, very interactive, very nice. Thank you very much.
Natarajan, Dr. K. Perumal is the director of Vision Academy. He is in charge of PhD scholars research.
Very good, very good.
Thank you. And now, shall I request Dr. Ganapati to give his, to explain the way yoga acts. Dr. Ganapati. Thank you.
Hello.
Yes, yes. You are audible. You are audible.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Good evening to everyone. So today is a very fascinating discussion by all the experts. Today's guest, Dr. Natarajan, and discussion by Devi Madam and Dr. Mabali Rajan. So actually yoga is the holistic approach. So we discuss about sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system. So it activates, we say that it activates parasympathetic nervous system. But as Dr. Devi rightly said that it is balancing both systems. I feel that it is not totally towards parasympathetic nervous system. It is just balancing both sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system. And one more thing I want to say here, congratulations to Mrs. Anuradha. She has presented very well. But there are some concerns. She says that bandhas and mudras are in the same category. I have a doubt. And another thing, Swami Vedatri Maharshi is not talking about Vajroli Mudra. So he says about Ashwini Mudra and Mula Bandha. He says that Mula Bandha is holding an sphincter, not the
Holding
point
it
between-
contracted.
holding the point between two, that is Ashwini and Vajroli Mudra. So I feel that these are all contradictions between what classics texts are talking and what Vethathiri Maharshi is telling. So here we have to think about, so better we can move forward based on what Swami Vethathiri Maharshi has told. And overall, yoga is an adjuvant therapy, I can say. So we can't say that everything can be corrected by doing only yoga. So it is a supportive and adjuvant therapy. That's what I want to say. Today's discussions are very nice. Thank you so much for our director Rabindranath sir and others. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. வாழ்க வளமுடன்.
Thank you, sir.
Dr. Thaumani has come.
Yeah, Dr. Daumani, you can unmute and come. You are from Sharjah, gynecologist, practicing. Welcome,
Good evening
welcome.
to-
Good evening, good
Yeah.
evening. வாழ்க வளமுடன்.
Good evening to each and every one of you. வாழ்க வளமுடன். Nice to see Dr. Karuna, Dr. Devi, Dr. Shanmugul, and all other people after a long time. It was really a wonderful discussion on by the cardiologist and the neurologist about how important yoga is. Actually, in medical practices, we have already doing this integrated approach of treating medical diseases, because as we know in our medical system, we have to use lot of medications to cure the disease. Usually patient comes after going through all the other systems, and then only they come to us. They want instant treatment. So we give it, but at the same time we try to motivate them to get into this yoga, and I always refer them. Some of them just smile at me, I don't have time for yoga, but still, you see, when we discuss, when we are in such a meeting, it really motivates us again. Because sometimes we also feel we have to really be drastic in our treatment. But no, with yoga, definitely the patients will benefit more. If they are not listening, it is up to them. But it's really nice. All the great scholars in this meeting also accept the same thing, and how wonderfully they highlighted. Thank you so much. Even though I joined late, I understood a lot of things. Thank you.
It is up to you to convince your patients on yoga.
Yes, yes, yes.
Right. Okay.
Dr.
Now,
Rabindranath ji, she is already doing it. She has very often she has told us that she is one of the practicing doctor gynecologists, and she is taking Kayakalpa as a very good subject on her agenda. Thank you, Daumani, for joining us.
Thank you, sir.
Now, Dr. Natarajan,
Yes, sir.
what do you suggest? You will have a general discussion to continue, or you will opt to
Sir,
talk
I'll
on
do
a-
it next week, sir. Next week you have meeting?
Yes, we can have.
Mine will be at least 30 minutes talk. It won't be so brief.
Okay.
So be prepared for a lengthy one.
Right. We are ready. Now, shall I ask some of our scholars to present their assignments? Aruna, call the next one.
Dr. Rabindranath ji, we can also introduce our Guptas. They have been patiently, every time coming in on time and then waiting for. I think we must.
You are getting
Dr.
into
Indira Gupta ji and Dr. Gupta is waiting.
Right. Indira ji, please give your ideas.
Indira Gupta ji.
I think hearing all these luminaries of medical.
Good morning.
I think it is such a treat. It makes us dumbfounded. The research that they have done, the contributions that they are making. And I think that I will emphasize prevention And knowing the connection, mind, body, the food, the emotional aspect, everything is important. And knowing how we can prevent this early on, because when you face your own mortality, self-motivation comes. That's what the time is here for self-motivation to find out the overall connection that we have, whether it is food or exercise or meditation, knowing the connection, full picture, it gives us self-motivation to practice. And that's why I go back to the 4-prong approach: consistent theoretical framework, practices, experience, and research. So, contribution that all these luminaries are making, it is so important to go back to get self-motivation to do things. Thank you. Vijay, you please share your thought.
Well, I have, as we have been mentioning, there is a need to publish these ideas in a short document. And somebody, maybe Dr. Vinnath, Dr. Perumal, us, we can think about it. And so, for example, I'm working on a paper with Dr. Perumal, and it's about Swamiji's 4 axioms. So we are working on it, and now it's in Dr. Perumal's hand. So this is just one example. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. Aruna, you can call the next scholar to present their assignment.
Hema Marni, are you ready? Hema Marni?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, yes. Please proceed, ma. Welcome.
Can you present?
Yes, yes.
Yes, ma'am. I'm sharing my screen, ma'am.
Now he's here. Mute.
Be blessed by the divine. Good evening, one and all present here. Happy to present my first presentation here before all the doctors. Thank you. My assignment is I'm a Hema Malini from Chennai. I'm doing my PhD in WCSE area. My assignment is how to conserve the ojas, and one more thing. Next one is how to increase the efficiency of Kayakalpa. So I took ojas first. Ojas. What is ojas? It's the purest substance in the universe and omnipresent in the human being. Ojas is an essence present in every dhatu and considered as sara of all the 7 dhatu starting from rasa to sukra and responsible for the strength of the body. Ojas is responsible consciousness, purity in thought, health, positivity in feeling in every situation, better immunity, longevity, intelligence, and memory. Ojas is one of the
Yes. Please.
What's the correct spelling? Ojas or Ojus?
U is used in many people.
It's Ayurvedic concept.
Yes. Hema Malini, you are on the line.
Having some connectivity problem, doctor.
Okay. While she comes back on the line, we will ask Aruna to tell something as to your expectations from a cardiologist. From a cardiologist, as a yoga scholar, what do you expect? Aruna?
Good question, doctor.
We do still require some more inputs on how we could use these cardio parameters to measure using yoga, how we can use what cardio parameters can be used for measurements. We do require some information about that and
That
how it
he is
helps.
agreeing. He wants to present it next week. So you spare him of
And-
that question. Ask other things.
Anatomically, how does it help? How does it work on the heart? The practice of yoga.
Yes.
Anatomically, we should be more talk of functionally.
Yes, sir.
Both anatomy and physiology put together.
Yes, sir. How does it work on the heart? Or how does it help the heart functioning?
You mean questions directed to me?
Yes,
Yes, sir.
And for the answer next week.
I'm a novice in yoga.
Yes.
Okay.
Psychosomatic.
Then what else you want, Aruna? He will be coming prepared. He will answer next week.
I think the first question sir can answer. What cardiac parameters and what instruments we can use?
He is going to talk on that the next week.
Next
So we will
week.
spare that subject. Yes. That is what I have asked him to deliberate on. He will do it next week. Yes. Anybody
next
who
week,
wants?
Aruna.
Could
Okay.
be given the choice even to the other scholars to put forward their questions for next week.
Yeah. Right now they can ask. So this is a unique opportunity where you raise the question and get the answer next week.
Sir, I'm Shanti speaking, the PhD scholar, doing PhD in Yoga for Human Excellence. Is my voice clear, sir? Am I audible?
Very clear, perfect.
Yes, Shanti, you are quite audible. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, sir. Okay, Varga Valamudan to all the delegates present here. It is a very great opportunity for us, the research scholars, to attend to this such type of doctors meeting. So I have a question to I think that can be answered by Dr. Natarajan in the next week. Sir, I'm doing my PhD on hypothyroidism, the effect of yoga, simplified Kundalini yoga on hypothyroidism. So I need some information about that how they are related, that thyroid gland and the cardio, that heart functions are related. These sort of things I want to know, sir. It would be.
Yeah, we'll do it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Anybody else?
I have a question. Hello.
Yes.
What I want Dr. Natarajan to address, that how people who are on medication, if they can slowly reduce by replacing their practices, their doing yoga or food changes, can they reduce the amount of medication that they are taking for heart or diabetes or whatever, what that protocol should be? Thank you.
See, actually, medication can be reduced by lifestyle changes. For example, when you lose weight, your requirement of diabetic drugs to reduce cholesterol, drugs to reduce your blood pressure, or come down. But to see, what is needed is you don't aim at total elimination. See, it all depends on your severity of the problem. People with a mild disease will be able to totally remove it. For example, you have mild hypertension or mild diabetes. By diet restriction, by good exercise, you'll be able to totally eliminate the need for drugs. But even then, after a few years, you may reach a stage wherein you will require it. So I think what is needed is to have a target in your mind, and that you should reach by different approaches.
Have you come across any people? Is there any data available that people who were taking medication for many, many years, but if they made some lifestyle changes, what is the difference that they felt, or in their heart conditions or their enthusiasm about giving up the medication? Do we have any data?
We are both anecdotal and scientific proof for this. So both anecdotal data as well as scientific proof. It is possible.
Because if
lifestyle changes, see, that's why we always recommend losing weight, good exercise, diet restrictions for everybody with the
Emotional control.
Emotional control. All these are all very important. Everything contributes to its own. But I don't expect it to totally replace. That's what I'm saying. See, let us not be fanatical about whatever is approached. We should be realistic.
Because first of all, there are people who are taking medication, they are afraid to give it up because those symptoms come back 100 times more.
No, not 100 times more. That's why you should have a target. You should have a target. You should say, my fasting blood sugar should be this level. My postprandial should be this level. My 3 months average should be this level. You keep a target. And whatever measure you do it, if you achieve that, that is enough. If by diet alone you are achieving the target, it is okay. If by yoga you are achieving the target, it is okay. So what you need to have a realistic goals. It's like anything in life. You need a goal to do your efforts.
Okay. I think that makes sense.
I can give the experiences of the health camp in Nadia. The one who has a fasting blood sugar of 200 to 250, when he practices for a month, his blood sugar comes down to 180, 150 to 180. And for these people, we are able to reduce their dosage. And those who are above 250, they are also successful in reducing this thing. A1C has come down from 10 to 7. It has come down to 7 in 1 month's time. So the results are like that. And we are able to reduce the drugs, increase their physical activity, and give a stiff challenge to the heart to get worked up. So we are able to reduce the drugs, but the clear publication by the paper will come with the help of Dr. K. Perumal.
So can I say one?
Oh, yes. You are invited only for that.
Sir, I think the allopathic people, they have a strong knowledge and we bound to the medicines. And asanas and yoga people, you are strong in all these asanas and everything. We bound to that. But I think first the patients go to the allopathic doctors and they are started on some medicine. The real problem arises when those people on regular medication come across another person with who have been benefited with yoga, and he happens to see that master. It most of the time happens. It seems the yoga master says, "Okay, you start this yoga asanas and so and so on, and you stop the medicines." I think the problem starts there. So the problem is not with the discipline of this yoga and everything, but it is the person who brings it into practice, who takes it to the individuals, to the public. At the same time, allopathy people, we are strong in that scientific and the Western thing, and we have less knowledge about our own yoga and all those things and meditation. So they also cannot believe entirely on that. So I think it is allopathic people, they should be made to know about this and the benefits. And these yoga teachers also should know that all of a sudden we should not abruptly stop the medicine, and it should be a combination of both. As Indraji said, so the medicines can be reduced because Dr. Natarajan is very particular in that. He feels that with LSM, the medicines can be reduced, but not that abruptly stop. I think this is the important matter which we need to bring both the disciplines or both the doctors practicing should take to the public.
So you have an important place in the society. You are a doctor as well as a yoga practitioner. And when doctor takes up yoga, he understands it better and he is able to implement it better. And that's why Swamiji was giving importance to doctors, and he always was interested in doctors taking up yoga. And that is how I came into importance also. And now,
I think Dr. Natarajan sir would agree with me.
Yeah, there is no question of.
That's what Dr. Nara has been saying also. You have come to my frequency.
Okay, sir.
And Dr. Hegde was also telling this morning in one of his lectures that abrupt cessation, stopping of the drugs is more harmful than any other problem of increasing overdosage or toxicity or the bad lifestyles. All those things, they all affect, but abrupt cessation of treatment, switching over from one to the other, is more challenging and with very serious consequences. So everyone has to understand, we have to educate the yoga people also that they have to taper the dose. They have to, nowadays doctors are willing, they can act together jointly, the yoga master and the doctor treating the patient, both can work together for better results. And, that will be a nice approach. Now it is 10 o'clock. Anybody has anything to
yes, sir.
contribute now?
Yes, sir. Sir, first we should understand our yoga is a spiritual science, not a medical science. And when we are practicing yoga for a spiritual awareness, we are getting some benefits on the medical side. So we should not expect a complete success on the medical side. It is a preventable science as far as the medicine is concerned. As far as the diseases are concerned, we can go only up to certain extent. Beyond that, it is not under the control of yoga, and it should be taken care of by the medical fraternity. So that's what
you agree with your classmate.
Yes, sir.
Yes. This depends on the person who is taking charge of
severity of the problem. Severity of the problem.
Severity of the problem. Yeah, sir. For a severe case, your approach is different. For a milder case, it is different. And anybody, whether he is a yoga practitioner, yoga therapist, or a doctor, they
for any metabolic disease, the lighter, the milder forms are much more commoner than the severe forms.
Severe
so
forms.
That's why the yoga and other things go over, because they are very useful for milder ones.
Yes.
Here I give another experience with the health camps. The individual comes for his diabetic control. And when we give the Sky Yoga, all physical exercises, meditation, Kayakalpa, introspection, Karma Yoga, Brahmanyana, everything. When we give everything, when he leaves the camp, he goes as a yogi. He is a following yoga, and his mind set is changed. The emotional outbursts are under control. He is able to handle his temperaments, and he becomes more sattvic than rajasic or tamasic. So this change makes him more confident, and he is impressed by his own results, and he is able to guide others. He becomes a better teacher, and this change in the spiritual orientation of the patient is the unasked for extra benefit, and it is much more important than the disease control or anything. He becomes a good citizen, responsible citizen. He becomes a world citizen, and this is the extra advantage. Okay, and with this, may I request Dr. Mr. Rangasamy to conclude the session. Mr. Rangasamy. Yes. Rangasamy ji, are you listening?
Can I come in for a minute?
Sure, sure. That's why I asked anyone.
About diabetes, we were talking about. Rabindranath said all those things in the camp that's happening. All of us as doctors, we know that whatever medicines we are giving, the stress is one important factor in the control of diabetes. So even Dr. Mohan used to say that a person can be treated so much, but and he's not shown how to reduce his stress levels, his diabetes control does not improve at all. So that is where yoga comes in. As Dr. Shanmugavel said, it can be a complement to our practice or an adjunct to our practice. And then there are research reports that a long-standing practicing people who practice meditation and pranayama, there are not only physiological changes, but anatomical changes in the brain itself. The cortical density increases, the hypothalamus density increases, and amygdala, which induces stress response, that density decreases, whereas the hypothalamus, which reduces the sympathetic response, that is increased. So there is an anatomical change itself in the brain, so that the patient's stress response decreases. Even for a small thing, he would have been very upset, but after meditation, he will respond. His stress response will be much better. His relaxation response will take over this stress response. So that is how it helps in the treatment of stress-related diseases. And we know that many of our problems, hypertension, diabetes, even asthma, skin problems, all that are all stress-related or stress-induced sometimes. So that way, yoga deals with the stress response much better than the other lifestyle changes. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Rangasamy, please.
Yes, thank you very much, Dr. Sundraji. I think you have concluded very nicely. And we have been going through this today. Maximum number of doctors and exchange of information between all of you was an eye-opener. Congratulations to Anuradha. Though you made a very good presentation, please take care of Dr. Dhanapathi's point of view and in your research paper. Otherwise, we have to thank all of them, Dr. Natarajan, Dr. Karuna, Dr. Shanmugavelu Sundraji, Dr. Dhanapathy, and Mahabali Rajan. Dr. Daumani came late, but not even then, she has been a very good practitioner of Kayakalpa. Another day, she can come early and then join us in our comments. Of course, Dr. Perumal was our guest of honor today. And as usual, Dr. Gupta's, always ready. Thank you very much to all of you, and see you all next week. Till then, bye-bye. All.
Thank you so much.
Thanks to Dr.
It was
Natarajan.
excellent cardiologists and all. We'll keep it. Okay. Thank you very much to all of you. Bye.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Bye, sir.
Okay, ma'am. Namaste. Indiraji, namaste.
No, we have to talk.
I am here. Right.
But what I'm suggesting is
Forward all that, because breakfast is heavy, doctor, today.